Yeah, I love it. Um, so I'm going to start by telling you just a little bit about what it's like to be a writer. Um, I feel that my writing career was actually, it was rather a circuitous route getting there, but it turned out that I was really perfectly made for it. If I were going to write an ad for authors, it would say something like, ideal candidate will be antisocial oddball, able to spend long periods pretending to be someone else. Excellent benefits include casual dress code, meaning pajamas, and the opportunity to make things up without getting into trouble. So basically, if you're a devout slob and an inveterate liar, you are made to be an author. And it turned out I was made for the. That is my official author photo. I show that to kids. I want you to look at that. You see all that crumpled paper? That crumpled paper is because writing is about rewriting. It is a constant battle to rewrite. It's so important to remember that when your teachers give you stuff and there are, red marks all over it, you have to do it all over again. You're a professional writer. That's what writing is all about. And it's really fun once you get the hang of it. Now, it also helps if you're a little weird. And most, I would say, Karen could answer this question. I think most writers are kind of weird, don't you? Yeah. I really do. And I think that's cool. So if you happen to be a little weird, that's a good thing. Hang on to that because it means you look at the world a little bit differently. And that's the job of a writer, right? So I will say, yeah, speaking of weird, she was an amazingly remarkable woman and very, very much an introvert. Um, I have to say, and I hesitate to admit this, but I really hated reading when I was your age. And I know I'm not supposed to say that. Sometimes when I'm at schools and I say that, I make the teachers cover their ears because I know most authors were, avid readers, but I thought it was really boring, quite honestly. I did not see the point. And it wasn't until I found a book I really liked, which in my case was Charlotte's Web, but for everybody it's different. I started to click with the idea that, hey, this might be kind of fun. It took me another 20 years to really get the hang of it, but honestly, if you don't like to read, give it time. You're going to find a book that you fall in love with. It's like finding a really good friend, and it takes a while. Now, as Karen mentioned, I started out as a ghostwriter, and I wrote all kinds of crazy things. 17 Sweet Valley Twins, and Mickey Mouse, Aladdin. I was considered one of the best goofy writers. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I wrote a lot of those, a lot of horse books. The last time I was on a horse, I fell off, but I wrote tons of horse books. And then I started doing Animorphs with my husband, which was about kids who can turn into animals, which is, by the way, a really fun concept to write about because you're writing aliens and you're writing, you're turning into lizards and stuff. How cool is that? See, this is why writing is fun. And then I started writing single titles, and I called those my real books because they had a beginning and a middle and an end, as Karen said, which was really, kind of refreshing. So I wrote Home of the Brave, and I wrote Ivan, and I wrote a book called Crenshaw about a giant imaginary cat who likes to eat purple jelly beans. And I found that there was a key to what made the writing really fun for me, and it was I had to be really mad about something. If you are trying to decide what to write about and your teacher gives you an assignment, write something that just sets your teeth on edge. Think about something that makes you really passionate, either something you love, something you hate, something you're angry about, something you want to understand. Because for me, that was really the key to channeling my inner writer. When I saw the story about Ivan, who, as you probably know, was trapped in a mall for 27 years with a little black and white TV and a chair, I was outraged and I wanted to write about it. And that's how that book came to be. I was living in Minneapolis at the time, and when I saw all these refugees from sub-Saharan Africa who had moved to Minneapolis, it gets cold in Minneapolis, and they were learning new language, and they had new food and new customs and all these things to figure out. I thought that was pretty amazing. I wrote Crenshaw because I was appalled and frustrated at the fact that so many kids in this country, 1 in 5, they say, is food insecure. And that to me is inexcusable in a country as affluent as ours. So those were things that kind of got to me. And